Hey, I'm Zen, a collector, a creator, and a professional nitpicker. And this is a nitpicker's review of Zen Creations, Gaara figure. A series where I go unnecessarily in-depth into a figure to point out everything that may not be 100% true to the source material. And I'm not just talking about anime because they do be weird sometimes. I'm talking about reference shades, game models, and why am I being such a wet blanket trying to find fault in a perfectly fine figure instead of delivering a positive, regular unboxing experience? Because I'm ZW. I strive to create things that are screen accurate, and my brain has been wired to pick out inaccuracies automatically. So I figured I could just share my findings with any one of you out there who are interested in improving your own store-bought figure. That is why I renamed it from Brutal Unboxing into a Nitpicker's Review, because my intentions are purely for entertainment and educational purposes. Let me be clear, this is clearly Gaara from the second half of the Naruto series, Naruto Shippuden. He has his iconic red spiky hair, his serious deadpan eyes with black eyeliner, and iconic maroon outfit with his weapon of choice, the Zen Gourd, coupled with his scent effects and a Zen claw. But is he 100% Gaara compared to how he was designed? The answer is no. So if you don't want to not be able to unsee the flaws of this figure but still wants to own him as part of your collection, you should click away and do some toy hunting on Big Bad Toy Store. They're based in the United States and they offer a huge range of different toys and figurines of various scales. And I was pleasantly surprised when I found this Gaara figure in stock on their webpage, because I clearly remembered really wanting this back in 2021 when it was first released. That was almost 5 years ago, and finding it brand new at such a reasonable price, together with so many other 1/6 scale Naruto figures, really made me want them all. And the reason why I didn't get Gaara back then was because I am a completionist. Even though I love Naruto, I will not start a collection without knowing that I could complete the collection. And I was right to hold off on collecting, because Zen Creations, the creator of this Gaara figure, only made 4 characters in total since 2020, and one of them was cancelled. They announced back in September 2025 that they have cancelled their Gaara figure, which was really unfortunate but also confusing to me, because I clearly saw a Gaara figure floating around on the Facebook groups. Well, it turns out another company called Rocket Toys have been expanding their own line of Naruto figures, and they have already released 8 Naruto figures since 2023, and they have just announced even more pre-orders, like the man himself, Naruto, alongside with other characters like Pain, as well as the 4th Hokage, Minato, and they're all available to pre-order on the Big Bad Toy Store. So it seems like they're going strong, and I see hope in Naruto figure collecting. So it's time to get someone they will probably not make anytime soon, Gaara. And it's time for you to start too, so make sure to get your Gaara figure from Big Bad Toy Store, link in the description below. Now for the figure himself. Like I mentioned, he has the iconic spiky red hair, and it's made with a flexible material, so you don't have to worry about breaking the hair strands when swapping out the faces. I feel like they did a great job at interpreting the 2D images of the hair and filling in the blanks, because they literally are blanks. So this looks great, but maybe they could have elongated the hair a little bit and made the overall hair a little bit higher, because the bottom, it feels a little bit bare. Next, the kanji of love on the top left of his head. From the reference shade, you can tell that it is not supposed to be bigger than his eyes, and it is not slanted. I do not know why they made it this way. In fact, they actually had it straight on the promotional shots. So somewhere along the line during production, the kanji rotated somehow. Moving on to the eyes. The eyes on this head sculpt seems a little bit too far apart. I feel like there are two prototypes. The one on the box which has the eyes a little bit closer, and the second prototype which is in the promotional shots which have almost the same eyes as what we have here. And I've tried making it closer on Photoshop to show you what I feel would be the accurate distance between both eyes. Now the eyeballs look a little bit too big as well, and the positioning. I also noticed that they included lines for the eyes, but that is in 2D form, so it might not be necessary in 3D form. And that is it for the regular head. For the battle damage head, I feel like they could have done a little bit more to differentiate it from the regular head, because when he has cracks on his face, it's usually when he is losing a battle, so maybe with his eyes closed, being captured by the Akatsuki, or the cracks have fallen out, so it leaves a black hole that makes it a little more dimensional. That could elevate the second head sculpt that they have provided. Now the outfit is a long, nice jacket. It has a nice texture, accurate maroon color, and it also includes wires along the edges so that you can pose it to make it look more dynamic. One thing that I really appreciate is the embroidered zipper. It is a detail that they didn't have to include, because I mean you're not even going to look at it. That is until I saw their prototype. The prototype actually included an actual zipper. It has the shine, the reflection of the silver, it looks more realistic, and this is just threads. So if I hadn't seen the promotional photos, I would have been really content with this. But oh well. Now Gaara has a vest that holds his Zen Gourd. It is made with a flexible material, which I really appreciate because I have so many figures that were made with faux leather, and because of the climate and the humidity in my country, they would flake in a couple of years. So with this flexible material, we don't have to worry about any flaking. But is it accurate? I just couldn't understand why they made the vest have a very sharp angle, because it doesn't exist like this in the anime or the manga. Then when I was doing research on the game model, they actually had Naruto Shippuden games, I think on the PlayStation games. The Gaara model that people have ripped from the game has a very similar angled vest. Unfortunately, the game model is not accurate to the actual design of the character, so that wasn't a wise decision to follow the game model. When they did the prototype, they painted it really well. There is a purplish tint, but this is just pure grey, which is wrong. There is missing paint on the zipper. They did paint the buckle of the vest, but they did not paint the zipper. If the zipper is the middle of the body, the maroon outfit should have his opening much further away from the center. So it's like around here, all the way down, but this is a little bit too close to the center, so that is wrong. Moving on to the pants. The pants have 3 bands. I think in the anime they gave him 4 bands, but on the reference sheet he was supposed to have 3 bands, but the positioning of the bands is around the thigh instead of his cuff, and they are all glued to the fabric, so you cannot move and change the positioning, unfortunately. And then when I was browsing that Instagram, I happened to stumble upon a few pictures of their behind the scenes, and apparently they do have access to the exact same reference sheet that I have been referring to for the entire video, but somehow they still could not stay true to the source material, and that is unfortunate. So moving on to the accessories. He has a really nice Zen Gourd. It has really nice details. It has cracks all over with good weathering for realism. They have also included water slide decals to detail the writing on the Zen Gourd, which looks really nice. And it is kind of glued onto the back of the vest, making it unremovable. You can remove the cap to insert a sand effect, and the sand effect is flexible, so you can play with it without worrying that it will break. The stand also includes a monster hand effect that you can just insert into the top of the stand. They are all painted really nicely, really realistic. The weathering is nice, making it really intimidating. And obviously we have the sand base with a flexible pole with subtle engraving along the side. Unfortunately, it does not have a Gaara nameplate, which I thought would be a given. Anyway, the Zen Gourd is so heavy that the figure keeps falling back, and it could not stand up straight. So I will try to remove the Zen Gourd and see if we can reattach it later. Now the Zen Gourd has water slide decals, which could be quite reflective sometimes. Like, you can clearly tell that it is not part of the painting. So what I usually do when I deal with water slide decals is to just spray it with a matte overcoat, and that will help you integrate the water slide decal to the paint overall. Okay, let's try to remove the gourd. So it is glued onto the figure at 3 contact points, and you can actually try to peel it off carefully. You don't want to damage your figure, but I will voluntarily deface my figure for research purposes. You just have to peel it, use a little bit of force, and you can move it. So it's glued here, and a little bit glue here and here. Now this figure is so much freer, and of course the question is, can you put it back? It is going to be difficult, and it will not be as secure as before. We might have to use some tool to kind of push the connection back. But yes, I think you could push it back in, which opens up a lot more options for you to play with his weapon instead of just having it at the back. Yeah? Don't take it out if you don't want to glue it back. Now let's look at the hands that they have provided. He came with clenched fists, which could be used to crush someone. Signing hands. I think they do this a lot in the anime, but there are no holes in between the fingers, so you cannot really do it. But he also came with some kind of Doctor Strange hands. You can combine these 2 hands to do a mid-motion signing hands, which could be nice. Then he has a cram. He uses this to control the sand towards the direction that he wants it before he grabs you and crushes you. But the most interesting hands when I first saw them, incredibly small hands. I did not know what they were for until I looked at some of the images, and it's actually hands made specifically for him to cross his arms. It's impossible to do it without specialized hands or arms entirely. So this is a great addition. It's just there looking at you intimidatingly. The last thing that I want to talk about is the proportion. According to the reference sheet, he is 166 cm tall. And if I'm not wrong, for a 1/6 scale figure, it means that the figure should be 166 divided by 6, which is 27.7 cm. Unfortunately, he is only 27 cm. So that means 27 times 6 is 162 cm. So when you are 166 cm and someone tells you that you're 162, you're gonna be mad, right? So this is too short. I do have a Deidara figure from Rocket Toys and he's significantly taller than Gaara. According to the reference sheets, he is supposed to be the same height as Gaara, but this figure from Rocket Toys is actually 28.5 cm, which is 171 cm. So the Rocket Toys Deidara is too tall, while the Zen Creations Gaara is too short. So despite all the nitpickings, the Gaara figure still looks really great in a collection of Naruto figures. Just pose them with a dynamic pose, make him look intimidating. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you are interested in more nitpickings, because I have a lot to say, and click on the link to do some shopping at Big Bad Toy Store.